Hi everyone, it's Grizz. We're back in the garage, back for another session on the Hayabusa. Things are going to plan, honest. Today is going to get hot, it's going to get salty, it's going to get a little bit sultry because it's going back together day. Yay! Right, it's a cup of tea in hand, new gloves. Oh, right, no more messing around. Let's get on with it. Let me show you this lot over here a sec. Right, it's time to get this lot on. The shock absorber is kind of attached to the swing arm. I've got all the necessary spindles. I need to put the bottle back on for the water. We need to put the rectifier back on before anything. The brake carrier, the rear brake caliper. We've got the brake piston, that's arrived, and some new bolts for putting the rear sets on. Thank you again, Rob, thank you very much. And also a huge thank you to all of you new patrons. Thank you very much appreciated. Rear wheel, that's waiting, ready. Now I've given the bike a bit more TLC than I said I was going to. I started to go to put this swing arm on. I started looking at all the corrosion and stuff, and I ended up putting a bit of paint on this frame, rubbing it down, some paint on, some ACF 50 on the back of the engine. So now I can put it all back together. The tank still needs a bit more sorting out. Up here there's a bit of rust, but yeah, I can pop the tank off anytime. But from a standpoint of getting this paintwork done on the frame, making it look a bit better, access is going to be very limited again after I put the swing arm on. So let's get it together. check it out, people. Get an eyeful of that. Now that bike is already so much lighter. It's so good to have it off those axle stands and actually supporting its own weight again. Really happy with how the swing arm went on. Got everything nicely torqued up. I've not torqued up the locking wheel nut yet, or the axle yet, because I've still got to put the chain on. But on from that, I did go through everything. I did use a torque wrench, okay? I don't use torque wrenches in general, but anything that has a bearing involved, I use a torque wrench to make sure I'm not putting too much weight through that bearing and restricting its movement. But on from that, I can pretty much tighten things up after many years of doing it. So what's next? Get the rear seat on the plastics. It's getting there. So that was rather lovely. She's looking just like a bike again now, nearly, more or less. Actually, I've pushed on ahead a bit and I've done some stuff without you guys. I feel guilty for doing work without recording it, but I wanted to get some jobs done. Let me show you what I've done and what I've got to do so I can go and have a ride. Let's have a look. What have I done? Well, I've done a fair bit. Mudguard is back on, hunky dory. The wiring is kind of getting there. I've put the back seat on and the mudguard and got all the wiring in situ ready for going together basically. Rear footrests are on, the chain and sprocket is on, lovely jubbly footrests are on, front sprocket is on. Yeah, as you can see, I've pushed on a fair old amount, but it had to be done, guys. I don't want this to go on forever. Things that were a problem as I was going was sorting out the rear brake. Now that's all fine. I've got I had to temporarily put this rear brake on with the old piston and brake line because Grizz stupidly chucked out the accidentally chucked out the rear brake line. So this is one off the front, which I thought was the rear. So I've got a replacement braided rear hose on order that is coming from Wiimoto, and I had to get the brake caliper back in use to be able to get the front sprocket off. Yeah, that was a bit of a carry on. Sorry I didn't record it. But yeah, that is where I am basically. So it's all kind of getting there. We're kind of getting there. It's coming together a bit more. Yeah, really liking the footrests as well. But that's not in their final resting place yet. I need to set those up properly. But everything's been torqued up. Chain guard on, mud guard on. I would really love to fit a tail tidy kit on this. I think it really needs it. But they're about, well, it depends. R&G one are about 50-60 pounds. Don't really have that hanging around at the moment. So yeah, that is all of that. What have I got to do? What's I got to do? I got to do the front brake calipers. They need to go on with new brake lines, and I need to bleed the system out. I need to put the water bottle on and fill up the system with coolant. I need to strip back down that rear brake caliper and put in the new piston. Thanks Rob Singleton from Twitter from that. A massive thank you also to all of our new patron donations and supporters as such. Not sure how you really put it. Patrons. Yeah, it's all very new to me. What else has got to happen? ECU has to go on, NCAN has to go on, coolant. That is the old sprocket off the front. Thought I'd show you this one because it was quite worn. I feel quite justified now in the new sprocket and chain set that I've put on. because even this front one is showing signs of, I don't know, I presume this is a 530, but it looks a little bit to me like it could have been a 525. It was the same depth, but the actual teeth here looked quite a lot narrower than the 530 front sprocket, but that is abnormal wear on the sprocket. So yeah, glad that's replaced. I need to put in the exhaust O2 sensor, get some exhaust clips on, get the antenna on obviously. Yeah, sadly my rear braided brake line, which is one off the front, would not fit, so that was a bummer. So yeah, waiting for a new one to arrive, and that's about it. Right, so I'm gonna call this a wrap, guys. A little bit of a shorter video. It's quite a fair bit amount of work really still to be done, but it's not a massive amount more. If I recorded all this that I've done so far from where I just left off, it would have taken me another couple of days. The whole process is quite slow from a standpoint of doing the work and processing all the videos, editing them down and then rendering it, etc, etc. But it's been great. I've loved doing this build series. Thank you to everyone that has messaged us both thanking us for the series, and yeah, it's been lovely. Thank you, a massive thank you to all our new patrons. We've now gone from, what was it, two patrons to now 6 patrons, which is just awesome. Really is seriously blown away, and cannot thank you enough. If you want to donate towards this channel, give us a tip or whatever, if that's your thing, do it. There is a link down below on the description of this video. But I appreciate you all, appreciate all your views, appreciate all your comments, and thank you again to Rob off of Twitter for your kind donation of this brake piston and the nuts and bolts. Yeah, so massive thank you to you all, and super excited now to get this bike together, hear her start up, and yeah, let it rip roar and have some full-on Akaprovic exhaust notes coming out of old Bertha. Anyway, I've said enough. Thank you for watching, everyone. Catch you on the next one. I strongly suspect I'm going to make a proper video out of fitting the brake calipers and brake lines and bleeding that out. Yeah, and a startup video. So yeah, let's do that. Hopefully on the next vid. Okay. Thanks for watching, everyone. Catch you on the next one. Cheers. Bye.